Hello, good evening to you all. Today is our day 58 of this 3-month data analytics bootcamp. Like I said, this bootcamp will last for about 3 months, and today is our day 58. So, like always, we start by showing our outlines. That is what we are to cover for the day. So, like always, we will have a recap on what we did yesterday. That is day 57. And today we are going to talk about join. That's what we are going to talk about today. Then we'll have question and answer, conclusion, and call it a day. So if you can recall yesterday, we did talk about arithmetic operators, where I show you how to do simple arithmetic calculation in SQL, where you can compare different tables together, or you can compare any table with any arithmetic value that or any number that you want. So today in our class, today we are going to talk about join. That's exactly what we are going to talk about today. Join. So this join is one of the is like how can I say, is one of the most valuable, or among the most, even if not the most, in SQL. Please, you need to understand this because it's one of the most commonly asked question or used scenario in SQL in order to know whether someone knows what SQL is all about or not. That what join is all about. And this join is normally used to put several rows from different tables together in SQL. It's like, I can't call it the pivot table, but I can call it, is like when you have different tables in SQL, you put the tables together using a particular connector. If you can recall, we talk about um foreign and primary. Okay, I'm sorry, it's just my network, and that's why you lost me. It's my network, that's why you lost me. So please, I'm coming back. Let me share my screen back again. Okay. So like I was saying, if you can recall, we did talk about primary and foreign key with you. Initially, when we started this, I discussed that with you. I told you we have a primary key and we also have a foreign key. So they are the connectors that we use to put two or more rows together from different tables. This is one of the most, I told you, most useful feature of SQL. For example, let me give you this example. Let me explain this to you. For example, I have a data. Now this Nigerian data that we have this Nigerian data that we are using. We have ID, we have name, we have full name, salary, position, gender, and the rest. Okay. We can have another table of data that has name, number of people, number of salary paid to them, number of pending salary, and also we can have their type of contract. So based on this, based on these two tables that we have, if you look at it, you see that the only thing that is common, okay, I think, okay, sorry, let me just share my screen. As I'm explaining this, I think it's better for me to show this to you. It's okay, don't worry. Because I want you to understand this join before we start working with, because if you understand it, that's all. That's 99% of it. So that's the name of our database. Use Ahmad. So now I have a table. Select all from Nigeria. That's the number one table that we have. So understand this table, the first one that we have, please understand it. Like I told you, we have ID, NIN. Okay, let me write them here. Let me write all the columns: ID, NIN, full name, gender, state, LGA, department, salary, position. Okay, let me break it down and put it like this. So this is what we have. Or let me use this and I'll close it here. Okay, so this is what we have. This is what we have in this particular table. So I have another table which is select all from salary. That's the name of the new table. So we have another table, and this is the, okay, please, can you hear me? Yeah. So these are the two tables that we have. So understand the IDs. I just put the variables that we have in each of the two tables. Number one, we have this. Number two, we have this. So if you look at it now, you see that for this one that we have name, number of salary paid, number of months pending, and also type of contract. This table and this table, if we want to connect them, the only key that we can use to connect these two tables is only this nin. That's the only common key that we have. So we have nin here. We also have nin here. So we will use this nin. I'm explaining the join. Please understand this. So we will use this nin to join this particular table when we want to know the full name of somebody and the type of contract that that particular person has in the company. So this is what brings the join. So it's based on this NIN, we'll locate the data that tally with the full name of this person and his type of contract, or maybe his full name, his salary, number of salary paid to him, and his type of contract. So based on these two tables, we use join to connect them and compare the data together in one place. It's like just you need to put the missing puzzles together. So we use join in order for us to put the missing puzzles together between two different tables in SQL. Please understand this. So if I want to know, for example, from this table, then somebody who has this particular number, I want to know his state, his LGA. In this table, we don't have that. But if I want to know his state, his LGA, his salary, then I use this to get this from this. So this is what join is all about. Please, if you understand what it's all about, let me know before we continue, because I'm going to explain all the join together, all what they mean. We have different types of the join. We are going to explain all together so that maybe tomorrow, if we come, we are only going to do practical of all of them at once and we call it a day. We continue from there. So if you didn't understand, please let me know. If you understand, then we continue with the types of the joins that we have. Do you understand this join, please? So like I told you, let me say it again. Join is just a particular function merge or put together rows from two different tables in SQL, that is using primary and foreign key. I told you what primary key is all about, and I told you what foreign key is all about. Primary key is the key or is the unique identifier in a particular table, while foreign key is just a key that appear between two different tables. So that foreign key can be a primary key in table one and it can be a foreign key in table two, but despite that is the key that we are going to use to connect the two tables. So here, if you look at it, we have ID here as a primary key, NIN, and we also have NIN. So NIN here is a what? NIN here is a foreign key in table one, while is a what primary key in table two. And that's what we are going to use to combine the two tables together using this foreign key that we have, which is NIN. So this is how it is all about. So whenever you have two tables, if there is no any a variable that connect them together, there is no way you can apply join in them, because if there is nothing that maybe give them a unique identity, how are you going to say that, okay, this data belong to this person? You cannot. For example, now it's just a full name here, gender and state. Under this table is just local government, maybe local government, salary and position. How are you going to compare the two tables? There is no way you can compare them, because take note, this data that I just mentioned to you is scattered. The data is scattered in different tables. But when you use that identifier, when you use that foreign key that connect the two tables, immediately you use it, the SQL will just fetch the data for you. SQL is what's going to put the missings, is what's going to create the puzzles for you. So it's going to put, okay, this NIN number is here. Then I'll go to that table and look where this NIN number appeared and what are the data, different data that are under this NIN number. Then I will, I will extract them and put them in one place. So this is what SQL is doing, using that unique identifier that connect the two tables. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the different types of joins that we have. That's what I'm going to talk about. We have different types of joins. Number one that we have the inner join. That's the number one join that we have. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Oh, the network is bad. Okay, like I said, inner join is a join that when we use it, it will return only the matching data from two tables that we are using. It's only the matching data that match each other. It's only the one that we are going to. For example, if we have, let's say, 30 data in this table, we have 10 in this table. When we apply the inner join, it will return only such data that matched each other. That means, okay, this NIN number and this NIN and this data, they match together. It's the only data that will return. Maybe there are 10 of them or 5. It's only return 5 matching record for us. Any data that didn't match each other, it will not return it for us. For example, even if there is NIN in this data and that NIN cannot be found in this table, so it's not matching and there is no record, it will return for us. So any matching record, any record that matched together, it will display such records for us. That's what inner join did for us. But what I just want you to understand is, please don't worry. We are going to explain all that. We're going to explain all that when we are to practice this. But I want you to understand this. Inner join returns the matching data that we have in both tables. So it's going to bring that common data, that this data and this data, we have them in these two different tables, and it returns such data for us. That's what inner join did for us. So the next thing is, let's talk about, or let me give another example of this. Okay, I say it, but let me say it again. Another example of this inner table, like I told you. For example, now I have NIN. I'm just saying I have ID, name, full name in this table. And here I have salary, table 2, I have salary, number of months paid, and number of pending salary, for example. So if and NIN also, so if I compare these two data, all the common data that we have within these two data will be returned to us whenever we used inner join. Okay, so now let's talk about the next join, the next type of join that we have, which is left join. So this left join, returns all the data or all the rows from the left hand side. Take note, your table, that is number one table that you are using, is always your left table. And number two table is the right table. So please understand this so that you will not get confused between the two. So the left join returns all of the rows that we have from the left table. Please understand this, from the left table. All of the data that we have from the left table, it will return it for us. While the data that it will return from the right table is only the data that match the data in left column. Please understand this. So when we apply this left column, all the data that we have in table one, it will return it for us. For example, like I said, in table one, we have 20 records. It will return 20 records for us from table one. While in table two, it will only return such data that match records from table one. So if it is, for example, now we have 20 data from table one that it return it all for us. So in table two, let's say we only have three data that match table one. So it's only return only 3 rows for us from what? From table two. So even if table two has 2000 data, it will only return such 3 records that tally with the 3 records that we have in what? In table one. While table one, it will return all of the data that we have in it. Please understand this, please. So that's left join. So wherever there is no match, for example, is 20 now, it returned 3 in table 2. So all the remaining 17 under table 2, it will just going to put null, 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 null for you because it didn't match the data that we have in table 1 under table 2. That's what left join did for us. Then we have right join. So for the right join, it returns is the opposite of left join. So in right join, it will return all the data that we have in. It will return all the data that we have in table 2. And those matching data that we have in table 1. So that what right join did for us. So it's the opposite of left join. Left returns all the data from table 1 and those that match data from table 2. And while right join return all the data from table 2 and such data that match the data from table 1. So that's what is going to return for us. So the matching data from table 1 is only what we are going to see, while we are going to see all the data from table 2. That's what right join did. So the last one is the full join. With full join, return all the data that we have together from table 1 and table 2, whether they match each other or they didn't match each other, it will return everything for us. Where they match, we are going to see the data. Where they didn't match, we are going to see null. So for example, it will return all the data from table 1 and all the data from table 2 and just compare those that match each other under it. So this is what full join did for us. I know you have a lot of questions to ask. Believe me, the network is very bad and kind of have other things to do. We only have some 7 minutes to go, but believe me, tomorrow we'll practicalize this. I will make sure I drop the video for you to watch. Save your questions tomorrow. I will attend to each and every question that you have. So please, I'm sorry, let's just call it a day today and see you tomorrow so that we are going to practicalize what we discussed today. Bye bye, take care. Good night.